His stat line was kind of ugly. I mean, 4 for 15, 1 for 9 from deep. But when they needed him, as all superstars do, he was there.
Well, look, he struggled from the field in an offensive game last night. So as he was sitting on the sidelines doing that game, I'm sitting there saying to myself, man, he's just out of sync. You could look at his face. You could just look at him when he's on the bench there. He kind of looked like he was in a fog. Like he knew that his shooting night was completely off, but he wasn't going to give up, right? He was still going to try to do whatever he could do. Shots wasn't falling. But superstar players in sports, when they're struggling at something, whatever it is, their offensive game, the running game, the pitching, at the moment that you think that you've lost them, they always hit a magical moment, right at a time of need. And defensively, no one expected for him to do that, right?
Not at all.
But because there was no quit in him, he made the biggest play of the game for the Rockets by blocking the shot and then having the awareness to realize I blocked the shot. Now he retrieves my block. He's going to take the ball and throw it and bounce it off of me. I need to somehow get out of the way, all within split seconds, right? No one expected for James to do that. So you got to give him credit at that moment for basically saving the game for them.
And their season.
Man, Houston should have lost a damn game.
That's all great, Jay Will, but they didn't.
I hear you giving James Harden credit. Great. He deserves it. Big-time block on Luke Dirk, who had 30 points. He never had 30 points before in his life, averaging 30 points in Game 7 now for Luke Dirk. Great. Awesome.
I know.
Can I ask you a question? Yeah. Why the hell does Luke Dirk have the ball in his hands? You know why? Because Billy Donovan should have called a timeout. He had 2 timeouts. 2 timeouts down the stretch. CP3, I've been calling him a point guard for a while now, had a triple-double, had 19, 11 rebounds, 12 assists, had the ball at the top of the key, had 3 defenders that are all in the gaps. They are all helping in on him, right? He gives the ball to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander starts to rush, kicks a one-handed pass across the court to Luke Dirk. I'm sitting here saying, CP3 is the guy. He was the guy for your last game. He's the guy that needs to have the ball in his hands down the clutch. If you're Billy Donovan watching your team be chaotic, knowing that you have 2 timeouts on the board, burn a timeout. Design a play for CP3 to have that shot. Now, look, I understand that it ends up them getting a foul, and then Gallinari go to the free throw line off that play. CP3 tried to call for a timeout before, but it doesn't even need to get to that point. Billy Donovan missed an opportunity to lead that team by calling a timeout, or even CP3. Somebody needs to recognize that in that moment, call a timeout, have your team regroup, and then come out and get a bucket by getting the ball in the hands of CP3's hands.
You know, thing like I always say, though, when you out there, man, that clock get to moving fast. Everybody thinks it's that easy to call a timeout or think. Players and coaches, it's just moving fast. And we see it all the time in sports where you look up and it's like, why don't they call a timeout? Before you know it, it's over with.
But Keyshawn, I got to tell you, CP3 he's a savant. Basketball.
No, there's no question.
Billy Donovan was up for Coach of the Year, right? I think he won one of the awards for Coach of the Year.
He was top 3 this year.
Top 3 this year.
Yeah.
Savant with the way he coaches the game as well, okay? So I hear what you're saying on that, but literally, let me take it the next possession to show you how guys, you know, I said it yesterday. Play fast, think slow. That's how CP3 is, right? So when Shai makes that kick across the court.
Yes. But CP3 is behind him.
I hear you. And Luke shoots the ball. Okay, James blocks it. Luke comes down, he grabs it. As he's about to throw it, you see CP3 running over saying, timeout, 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 timeout. They actually went back to review it, right?
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is take it back 10 seconds before that.
Yes.
Before you even get to that point, where Lou's about to throw the ball out of bounds and CP3 is trying to call for a timeout, call a timeout then. And even if CP can't think through because the game is moving fast, that's why you have a great coach. That's the job of the coach, to think for the players when they can't think for themselves. Should have called a timeout there. That's all I'm saying.
Well, he was hitting some big threes for them last night. CP3 kind of got him going by having a conversation with him and telling him, look, you could pull the trigger, because he was froze on a few times where he didn't know early in the game if he should hit the pull the trigger. CP3 gave him the green light. He gave him 30 because of that. So I'm sure, Jay Will, they felt comfortable based on his night of him pulling it. Now,
Nope.
me and you, I know.
Not game 7.
I get it.
Not a game 7.
Look, that's why I called you to ask you, should CP3 be the guy taking the ball out with the 1.1 seconds to go, or should somebody else be the guy? Because I was trying to figure out, well, why are they allowing a young point guard to take the ball out when he just decided, he panicked and threw the ball to Adams? I'm like, well, why isn't CP3 taking it out? But then I realized they don't really have anybody else they can trust with the ball when they inbound it to pull the trigger except CP3. So they was kind of stuck in between.
Yeah, James Harden did say that Lou Dort had a good game, but to Key's point, I mean, let's be honest. Lou Dort with your season on the line when you have somebody like CP3 there doesn't make a ton of sense.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.